Welcome to class again. The purpose of this video is to introduce to you Chapter 1 of your Perceiving the Arts textbook, which, by the way, is the hardest chapter, the most difficult chapter to understand. And that's often true of any of your textbooks if you're a freshman. The concepts are sometimes hard to follow until you really get in and go, aha, now I understand what he or she was talking about in the beginning. So we'll try to do the best we can with the questions that I ask you, the activities I ask you in your units. And I'd also today like to introduce you to some of the concepts and vocabulary words. Again, concepts and vocabulary words that you use all semester. In this case, it's regarding 2D visual art and 3D visual art. So I can't cover all of them, and I won't be able to cover all that are in the textbook in the order that they're in, because some artwork that we're going to look at today, some of the principles are operational and some of them aren't. So we'll take them as we see the exemplary objects. I'm in the University of Montana Western Art Gallery, and this is the permanent display room. And if you have the opportunity to visit a university or college art gallery, just like ours, in some ways it's better than having a textbook, because you are apt to see in a permanent collection like ours, every media, every technique, style, size, shape, and form of all the different artwork that is talked about in your Perceiving the Art book, or exemplified in these teeny weeny photographs of the real deal in your art book. By the way, if you can begin to understand art before you go out in the field for your outside of class arts events, if you can get it by looking at and studying these teeny weeny photographs of the real deal and the short YouTube videos that we're going to be watching regarding the performing arts, you'll do real well when you get to the real thing, because it's tough. Well, what we're looking at today is, well, an example of three-dimensional art, or sculpture in this case. It is ceramics, but it really doesn't have a practical function unless I stuck a bunch of flowers out of here, or if it was to hold soup or something. This wasn't intended as that. And we talk about this kind of sculpture as full round. I'm jumping up to the sculptural unit now, or the sculptural vocabulary terms, aren't I? This is full round. And it looks like the media, that means the materials, is clay, and it's glazed, and it's fired. And so that gives it its hardness. By the way, I'm not supposed to touch it. And the glaze gives it its color and its sheen. And we view this type of artwork by walking all the way around it. You'll find out in your textbook that there's other ways that 3D artists present their work. We also, in this gallery, we have lithographs, which is a very, very rare form of making multiple prints of basically lines that are etched into a stone. We have photographs. These, by the way, if you're on the Western campus or you're coming through, are by Edward Curtis. These are incredibly valuable prints of a turn of the 19th to 20th century artist who was documenting the disappearance of various tribes of Native Americans in the West. They're incredible. We also have different types of wood prints, woodblock prints, huge. We have Ansel Adams photographs, and we have large work behind me that's oil pens, kind of like grease pens. Some artists even use cattle markers on canvas. And this you can say is rather odd, because it's a picture without a frame. We oftentimes think of paintings and pictures and photographs, don't we, as square with a frame and oftentimes with glass, and that's not always true. Artists break boundaries. So what I'd like to do is introduce the basic elements of line, shape, form, and texture, and then we'll look at some other guiding principles that you can see in 2D artwork.